Happy Monday, everyone. I'm Scott Agness of FieldhouseFiles.com. Here in the entry pavilion of Gamebridge Fieldhouse, the Fever practiced on the main court here today ahead of another home game coming up on Tuesday against the Dallas Wings. They're on a favorable stretch of their schedule, 4 straight games against the bottom 4 teams in the WNBA standings, and that's something they got to take advantage of right now when they're short on numbers. Now, instead of 9 players, they're up to 10 after over the weekend signing Odyssey Sims to a 7-day hardship contract, obviously due to the fact that Ari McDonald, Sydney Colson both suffered season-ending injuries and are out for the rest of the year. Now, they were at practice today. They're on scooters. They're on crutches. They were around the team, which certainly had to be good for their emotions and their spirits to be around this team still every single day. But there was a newcomer, obviously, with Odyssey Sims, a veteran, been in the league for a decade now, joining this bunch. They're not going to have to ask a lot of her initially, but they needed help at that point guard position. Kelsey Mitchell, Sophie Cunningham both did an admirable job, fantastic job over the weekend as the Fever dominated the Chicago Sky yet again to improve to 4-0 against the Sky this season. Now, Caitlin Clark, yes, she was at practice, but still not progressing to just practicing just yet. Look, she's going to be at least a couple more weeks, I think, with those several different injuries. They want to get a handle of it. She needs to be selfish, and I think is in a good way. That's a positive for her to take all the time she needs to feel comfortable with her body as well as with those injuries. 2 other things of note that we saw to end the practice. Didn't get to watch practice again, but we did see first Lin Dunn being surprised with an award. She was celebrated being a recipient of the Inspiring Women Award, and more than that, that award will now bear her name, being named after her moving forward. So very cool to see her celebrated. Caitlin Clark giving her a big hug after practice, and so many smiles for those, because she was here several decades. She was here long before the WNBA has taken off like it has. She's been in women's basketball for decades, so that was special. One more thing. You had, I think, 4 individuals with Special Olympics of Indiana being celebrated and having a special day here at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. They sat at midcourt, signed probably one-day contracts to be part of the Fever. Stephanie White went along down the line and signed each of those, and then the individuals took photos with the team as a whole and individuals as well. So a lot of feel-good stories as well, but more than anything this week is about the Fever to enjoy some rest. They have a couple off days scheduled, including on Sunday they enjoyed. They also have a couple of home games, and then it's gearing up for this final push. The final dozen games here are critically important. So come inside practice here from Stephanie White, Aliyah Boston, and the newest member of the Indiana Fever, Odyssey Sims.
What excites you about what she can bring to you guys, especially now that you need a point guard so badly right now?
Yeah, I think her efficiency in the 2-man game. She's been really good in the 2-man her whole career. Her ability to get downhill and to make plays for herself and others, to knock down shots, her speed and quickness with the ball in her hands, all things that we need, and she'll be a great addition.
You feel better at implementing players mid-season with how many times you guys have had to work through it?
Yeah, it is what it is at this point, and particularly when you're talking about a point guard, really making sure that we focus in on the high-level usage things that we'll use when she's on the floor, and getting her up to speed on not just what we do offensively, but what we do defensively. So, yeah, I feel pretty good about that. Our group is really good about how we help one another out and how they help one another out on the floor. So she's ready to go.
Break in the schedule this week allows for what for this team now?
Number 1, rest. I think just coming off of what we came off of on the West Coast. And number 2, an opportunity now with the added player to really go through all of our stuff to make sure that we can really implement all of our things and address some slippage in practice. It was nice to be able to get on the floor to actually practice today and address some of those areas on the defensive end as well. So rest, recovery, and fine-tune some things.
What's the added benefit of having a player like Odyssey? It's a known quantity. You've all seen her play. You kind of know what she brings to the table. Maybe easier to get her into what you're doing here?
I think so, in particular for what we need her for. Again, it adds another downhill driver, another player that can play in the 2-man. When you had, Sid and you had Ari on the floor, it took a little bit of pressure off of Kelsey to have to be the only one. And now Odyssey will do that same thing.
You talked about Caitlin starting full court running last week. Has she been able to do anything extra since then or return to practice at all?
No return to practice. She's been able to get a little bit more in her full court running, with her all of her body weight. It's really building up from doing minimal to then building some endurance do longer periods of time. She's been able to do a little bit more on the court in terms of how she moves, but not into practice yet, no.
After all the changes of just injuries and different players, you guys have kept this together. A lot of teams might have just faltered, but what does it say about not just yourself and your coaches, but the people, the players here that are playing for you, just what they've been able to do?
Just a high quality character group. They're resilient. They pull for one another. They don't get too high, they don't get too low, and they believe. And that's the most important thing. They've been through a lot. They've been incredibly resilient in terms of not just on the court production, but their attitudes, their energy. They bring it every day. And okay, yes, we feel awful for the ones who aren't able to play, but we feel really good about those who now get opportunity that might not have had opportunity had those guys been on the floor.
What was it like to see Lin celebrated with everybody in midcourt?
That was great. Obviously Lin is a pillar and a legend in our sport and in our game, and to be able to honor her in this way, and Amber said it, we really do stand on the shoulders of people like Lin Dunn, and she is and always has been an inspiring a woman in our league, inspiring woman in our game and the history of women's sport. And so for us to be able to honor her is pretty incredible.
Resilient nature of this team to just figure this out in so many different variables this season. What did you see on Saturday night that kind of just did it again?
Yeah, I think our whole play. The game wasn't perfect, obviously, but I think our ability to make adjustments on the fly, think about stuff right before the game, and be able to play in that way, and then have people play different positions like point guard, Soph. I think that was just pretty big for us. And I feel like our whole season it's been about being resilient and figuring out how to be consistent through all of that. And so for us, I thought that Saturday was a good example for that.
You had experience with this with Ari already this season, but when a new point guard comes in, how do you guys help them reacclimate, and how does that change what you need to do in the game?
I'm gonna start there. I don't think it really changes too much. Probably just continue to up my communication. But I think is a smart player, and she knows how to score the ball. She knows how to pass the ball, and so it's really just not much that you really have to explain. And so I'm super excited that she's here, and we're all pretty hyped about it.
Been on the road a lot. You're back this week, about how good it is to be able to try to get some wins here in front of your home crowd, and just kind of focusing on that before you get ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, it's great. I think being home is always a great opportunity. I think we have the best fans in the W, and so for us being able to just get these games before we have to go back out on the road again is going to be super important for us, and so we just have to take it and embrace it one game at a time.
Yeah, is there playoffs will be here before we know, right? Is there a certain message, someone like yourself as a leader on this team, where it's like, hey, it's kind of like go time now, especially here at home, take care of your business at home?
Honestly, as silly as it may sound, no. I feel like for us, we know that playoffs are on the horizon, so it's about taking it one game at a time. So our focus is always going to be that next game. So right now it's Dallas, and we know that we have to take care of business here, and then you look at the next game. But I think just thinking about our group and all the change that we've had, it's about keeping what's in front of you, right in front of you, and being where your feet are. And so that's for us. Obviously, we know playoffs are there, and that's where we want to be, and we want to have a good run in that. But as of right now, it's Dallas.
Kelsey keeps producing
yes.
this massive level this season. What have you seen of just kind of the steps she's taken from April to now that have just elevated all of it?
Yeah, I think when you think about Kelsey, you think of just a dynamic scorer, being able to do anything. I think, on defensive end, she guards teams' best players sometimes. And so for her to be able to continue to produce, I think just reading the game for her has just upped. I think you see her assist numbers are going high. Teams are, they're like, we have to pull over, we have to rotate. And she's doing a great job passing us the ball, which once again opens up the floor for her even more. And so I'm just super happy for her. I think the numbers she's putting up this season are just completely ridiculous, but it's amazing.
After all the ups and downs, just with injuries, a lot of teams will just say, "Hey, I'm kind of done with it." But
yeah.
That's
not us.
What have you learned about your teammates during this moment?
I think from the time the season started, we talked about no matter what happens throughout the season, it's about next woman up. And I feel like this season has literally been that for us. Something has happened and the next person has had to step up. And even though there have been games that we've dropped or super close games, especially at the beginning of the season, I think right now we have embraced that challenges are going to come. And so for us, is that being consistent. It's like, I'm good to go, then I'm going to show up and I'm going to play the way that I need to play. Cool. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Have a good one.
When did you find out about this opportunity, and kind of what excites you about joining this group?
I can't really say when I found out, but I did know that I was flying here on Sunday. Just excited. I know that Indiana is a great organization, and just to be a part of it and just to be here with the great players that I'm going to be playing with, this is a great opportunity. I'm just happy to be here.
What's the most important thing for you in a situation like this to just get acclimated, just to kind of get your feet under you and feel your way around the new spot here?
I mean, it's not my first time just coming to a new team and coming in and just being me. The biggest thing is just doing what I do best. Playing defense, playing hard, doing whatever the team needs. Obviously, I know they've been down with the injuries. Prayers up for Sid and Ari. Love them both. But like I said, I'm excited to be here, and I'm not going to do too much. But whatever coach tells me to do is what I'm going to do and have fun and enjoy my teammates.
Yeah, how much are you looking forward to this opportunity? Because there is plenty of talent here still in this team.
I mean, I'm excited about tomorrow. I know Indiana has great fans, some of the best fans in the W. So I'm a little nervous just because it's going to be a lot of people. But I'm excited to play, actually put my jersey on. And like I said, to be around my teammates. It was my first day. It was great. I'm looking forward to many more great days. And like I said, just enjoying this, taking advantage of it. And, I mean, the opportunity is here. So it's up to me to decide what I'm going to do with it.
In what way do you see your skill set fitting in with what this group does?
I think I'll be just fine. I think when you go to any team, go from one team to the next, I mean, of course, it's about adjusting, fitting in, of course, learning the plays. But, I think I learned pretty quick. I know this team does get out and run a lot. That's what I do like to do. So I think I'll just be just fine starting tomorrow.
How does your experience pay off? You've done this a couple times and been in situations to bounce around the league a little bit. Does it ever get easier?
I'll just say every situation has been different in its own unique way. I think this is a opportunity situation that is unique. I can keep saying it over and over. Like I can't even believe I'm here right now to literally be a part of the Indiana Fever Basketball Association. Like this is amazing. So like I said, I'm excited. You're gonna see me smiling from ear to ear, like I have been since I got here yesterday. Like I said, I just want to continue that. Pour into my teammates, let them pour into me, win, and get ready for playoffs. Playoffs is around the corner as we finish up regular season. So as long as I'm here, I'm just going to do my part, impact as best way I can, positive impact, and that's it.
As a point guard, you have the ball in your hands a lot. You organize things. So that said, being new here, what's the acclimation process about learning the plays and getting everybody organized as you can? Or are they simplifying things, I'm sure, too?
They're trying not to overload me with too many plays. I've learned today just the basic ones that they've been running. And we have just played where they put all our plays, so I'll be reviewing a lot today. But it's no pressure. Of course, like brain farts are expected. I might call a play, it might be the wrong because I'm thinking of a different play. It's happened to me before, so I'm just going in with no pressure. Like I said, just gonna play, help them from the point guard position, and just be me out there.